Coming up on Business Live, government exceeds Treasury bills sale by 43.3 million cedis, signaling increased investor interest. We have the details in our business desk report. Also, government to add new debt of 2.5 billion cedis to its existing loans in Q4 of this year. Plus, Registry Generals Department systems partially restored, allowing businesses to update records, but not for fresh registrations. I'm Ms. Relaya. Business Live continues in a bit. Stay tuned in. So government has exceeded its Treasury bill sales by 43.34 million cedis last Friday. This signals increase in investor interest in the short-term government securities. Charles Nixon Yeboah has been looking at the trading results and filed this report.
The government had targeted to raise a total of 876 million cedis, but secured a little over 990 million cedis. It actually accepted 854 million cedis of bids for the 91-day and 65.24 million cedis for the 182-day Treasury bill. This indicates investor interest in Government of Ghana securities. Government during the COVID-19 epic period and even until recently was not meeting its target for short and medium-term securities. But the recent surge in investor interest could also help bring down the yield on these instruments. The interest rates have remained steady over the last couple of weeks as they are hovering around 14.15%. Investors were earlier demanding more interest rate in the month of August when they were actually moving into other risk-free instruments that were giving them extra yield than the government treasuries. Data from the Bank of Ghana indicates that the government treasury securities were priced at a rate of 13.97% in the better part of the second quarter of this year. The Monetary Policy Committee report also said interest rates on the money market saw mixed developments as rates on short to medium-term instruments eased, but generally tightened at the longer end in August this year.
Government will add a new debt of 2.5 billion cedis to its existing loans when it borrows 22.1 billion cedis in the last quarter of this year. That's according to its issuance calendar. Charles Nixon scrutinizes the amount and instruments to be issued.
In December alone, 11.3 billion cedis will be raised through both short and long-term financial instruments. According to the issuance calendar, 19.6 billion cedis will, however, be used to roll over maturing loans. Government in September had planned to borrow 22.7 billion cedis between September and November, with 3.05 billion cedis as fresh issuance. Out of the total amount to be raised in the last quarter, 9.7 billion cedis, which is the highest amount, will be issued through a 91-day Treasury bill. The lowest amount to be raised is 287 million cedis, which will be issued via a 20-year bond. The 20-year bond was originally scheduled to be issued in November, but had to be pushed to December because of the current market conditions. According to the issuance calendar, the 91-day and 182-day Treasury bills will be issued every week, whilst the one-year Treasury note will be floated every fortnight. The World Bank, in its latest African Pulse report, projected a significant rise in the country's total public debt for this year. According to the Bretton Woods institution, this is due to the widening fiscal deficit as a result of lower revenue and higher expenditure brought about by COVID-19. The country's debt hit 263 billion cedis in July, about 68.3% of gross domestic product. Generally, government debt as a percentage of GDP is used by investors to measure a country's ability to make future payments on its debt.
About 12 million cedis has been credited to the accounts of some investors of liquidated fund management firms. This is after the firm in charge of the payment process, GCB Capital, commenced payment last Thursday. These monies are being advanced to those that have agreed to the payment structure put forward by the Registrar General, Jimam Owari. The payment, however, covers only clients of the 22 firms that the Registrar General has had the court approval to liquidate. Kofi El Ewuku is the Managing Director of GCB Capital.
Now, there are JCB bank accounts that have been opened for all of these clients. So the payments will be made into that account. Now, a bit about the fund. The fund is structured with two tiers. There's a tier one, which operates like a money market account. To break it down, it's an investment asset that you can easily get your cash out of as and when you need it, maybe within 48 hours. And then there's a tier two component, which is a more longer term investment structure with withdrawal restrictions over a period, such that you can't get your money out of it as quickly as you would in tier one. So the redemptions or the withdrawals, to use a simpler language, that are going on now are for the shareholdings that these investors have in tier one of the fund.
So help me out again here for some little clarification and explanation. You've paid, so what's the total number of persons that you have on your books right now who have had their account validated and they have subscribed to agreeing to your terms of payment? This is the total number of clients.
As at close of business last week, we had just about 3,000 people that had accepted the assignment and subscription agreement. And out of this 3,000, about 1,000 had completed KYC. It's ongoing, so as we speak, people are still submitting their documents, and it's all online, so it's happening round the clock, 24/7. Out of the 1,000, as I indicated earlier, about 500 have indicated that they want to make withdrawals. And let me hasten to add that even the withdrawals or redemptions are not happening wholesale. You don't necessarily even need to take all of it out. What you need urgently to take out will be paid out of your tier one into your cash account. The rest still remains in a managed fund for you, just as it should have been prior.
So you paid about 200 people so far as at Friday?
As of Friday, about 270, so just about under 300.
In terms of cash component, what would you do the valuation like?
The number as at close of business last week was, I think, about 12 million cedis that had been paid out. And my team has indeed been working on.
Now, monies have been paid into accounts of more than 270 investors, whilst another 370 should be done by close of today. The Registry Generals Department has had its systems partially restored from this morning. This was after management of GCNet was able to reach some initial agreement with striking workers. The restoration will allow businesses to update their records but cannot undertake fresh registrations. The action by the workers resulted in the department halting its services, a move that resulted in loss of millions of cedis to the state. Registrar General Jimmy Mawari joins us via Zoom with more. Thank you very much. Now, how did the day end, and what's the situation as we speak?
Well, thank you, Israel. Just to update you on what's happening in the department. It's based on what's all the news that went out, last week. Management of GCNet was able to bring up our system. But as I said, it's only in relation to businesses that are already on our records, getting maybe changes or filing of returns or renewing of businesses. We still have a challenge with the digital address, and therefore we're not able to register limited liability companies or business names or partnerships or any type of business registration. We are still not able to do that.
And when are you looking at having this resolved so that all systems can be on go?
Well, GCNet management is working on it as I speak. We are trusting that by the end of today, we should have the digital address platform linking up with our e-registrar system so that we can carry on with the registrations.
Right. So compared to last week when everything was down and this today that you have some systems working, what revenue losses are we looking at?
I can't give the figures offhand, but definitely people are renewing their businesses, annual returns are being filed, and so definitely it's a far better situation than last week. Maybe another time I can give you the exact figures, but I mean, it's far better than what we had last week.
Would that mean that you're having a backlog of people coming onto you, and so there's a bit of pressure with you?
Yes, people are still coming. They still can't register their businesses at all. So people are still frustrated in the sense that you can't get any business registered now until the digital address is up. Remember, I mentioned that it's the digital address that gives you the link up to the metropolitan and municipal departments and agencies. And that is what will give you the business operating permit. So once we are not able to link up to the digital address, nothing still gets done, at least with regard to fresh registrations. But once you're already registered, we can renew the business, we can file returns or whatever goes on with that.
All right. Thank you very much. Jemima Wari is Registrar Generals. When moving on, the Finance Ministry has maintained that it is working to resume the Japa Royalties initial public offering after addressing all concerns raised by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. This was contained in a fresh statement released by the ministry following recent report of suspension of the deal. George Afi has the rest of the story.
This might be the first official release coming from the Ministry of Finance following recent reports about the suspension of the planned initial public offering IPO of the Japa royalty deal, which seeks to monetize our gold reserves in the country. The release again confirms earlier report that the planned IPO has indeed been put on hold, subject to clearing all issues raised by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. This might be in sharp contrast to comments coming from some members of Parliament on the Finance Committee that the offer has not been suspended as being claimed in the media. From the release, it is clear that the move to raise the money on the London Stock Exchange will not happen as long as the Special Prosecutor hasn't concluded his investigations into the whole process. According to the Finance Ministry, the ongoing investigations are needed to give some assurance to investors and regulators, both in Ghana and in London, that it would continue to adhere to the highest level of corporate governance and transparency. The IPO was supposed to start in September this year, and government was hoping to raise some $500 million to fund some critical expenditure in the country. But for some civil society groups, they are still opposed to the deal because their value for money concerns are yet to be addressed, even if the Finance Ministry is cleared by the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
The Bank of Ghana has been advised to improve its enforcement of cybersecurity. Speaking with Joy Business on the sidelines of a program on the impact of COVID-19 on Ghana's digitization agenda, National Security Advisor Albert Ntwi-Buesiako says a move will minimize any damage to the financial sector. Nicholas Brown has the rest of the story.
According to the 2019 Bank of Ghana fraud report, cybercrime took a nosedive, dropping by 34% to 114 same time last year. Despite the improved data, National Security Advisor Albert Ntwi-Buesiako urged banks to timely share information on cyber attacks and threats to their systems. This, he says, will reduce impairment to the financial sector.
Timely sharing of information on attacks and threats, I think that will help the banks to quickly respond and deal with the issue. So that is one area we're looking at for improvement. But we also expect improved enforcement, from the central bank really is important. The directive is important. It's an important document, but I think we need to improve enforcement to ensure all the banks, all financial institutions are able to implement the various guidelines that are provided in that particular document. So these are the areas we need to be looking at.
On his part, the managing director of Cow Bank Ghana, Mr. Philip Oruedu, says all banks through the Ghana Association of Bankers are working together to ensure a safe cyberspace in the financial sector.
There is a collaboration through the Ghana Association of Bankers. At the moment, what we are trying to do is to ensure that in terms of the guidelines issued by the central bank, we all adhere to that. The central bank guideline includes ensuring that there is a SOC in place, which is the Security Operations Center for all banks, which will be linked to the central bank. So the banks are ensuring that, through the Association of Banks, are ensuring that banks are adhering to the guidelines to ensure that we protect the interest of our clients.
In the 2019 Bank of Ghana fraud report, the banking industry reported a total number of 2,295 fraud cases as compared to 2,175 fraud cases reported in 2018. According to the Bank of Ghana, the marginal increase in the number of fraud cases reported may partly be attributed to the improved effort by the Financial Stability Department to identify, monitor, and to ensure compliance with reporting of fraud cases in the industry. Nicholas Brown's report for Joy Business.
All right, so these people you're just about to see on your screen, green screens, are going about their normal activity without face masks on. This is despite the Public Health Directorate making it mandatory to wear a mask when leaving home. It may not come as a surprise, as many believe Ghana is out of the woods, especially as far as COVID-19 cases, or because COVID-19 cases keep dropping. When Ghana first recorded its imported case in February, one commodity that was in high demand and expensive to buy was the face mask. Now that restrictions have eased, the cost of these face masks has reduced drastically. Watch this conversation we had with the head of sales and marketing for East Cantonment Pharmacy, Ebenezer Holmes Graves, together with Joseph Wedi, a pharmacist, on the cost of PPEs now that restrictions have eased.
Let's face it, as of now, these things, the nose masks and the sanitizers, have become a daily usage thing. Okay. Now, the ordinary man on the street, which is the mass of the people, if you're asking him to buy a face mask for 1 cedi, and it's usable for just a day, for 30 days, that's 30 cedis. That doesn't impact on his pay pocket.
So he can't repeat it for 2 days? No. It's disposable. So.
Disposable, you understand?
Yeah,
sure. So
it's supposed to be changed, if I may, every 8 hours. So in a day he might need about two.
Yeah. 2 of these in a day?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And considering the fact that it has become an everyday thing, then we need to look at it more. And I think that it will help if government thinks along those lines, if they can subsidize the importation or the manufacturing of these products, which are obviously a daily requirement now. Inevitably, it hits the end consumer price. So instead of 1 cedi, maybe you'll be buying it at 50 pesos or 25.
Johnson, you're very concerned. You are, a pharmacist. You have been monitoring the sales of these things ever since we reported our first imported case. How concerned are you? How are people really catching on to the compliance level in these times?
Yeah, thank you so much to all your viewers. I think it's about perception, because like my colleague said, we've seen a drastic drop in demand for face masks, for hand sanitizers, and it's because people think we are out of the woods, but that is actually not the case. There are several countries that are experiencing a second wave, and as much as our cases keep on declining, I think it's still important that we stress what has helped us so far get to this point, and that is the wearing of face masks, social distancing, using of the hand sanitizers. So that message has still got to keep on resonating with the public.
You know what, already government is putting in a lot of interventions. Let's talk about the water bills, the electricity, and all that. Those are all large sums of money. It got to a point the government had to provide food for our brothers and sisters who were not working. Now, part of the social intervention, if it's hitting the cost price of these essential items that we have to use every day, and let's think of the mass of the people who obviously cannot afford it, it helps. So let's make some budgetary provision instead of everything going into water and electricity. That's something that the people must use every day. So it gives justification that yes, some of these interventions must be redirected to support the consumption of face masks, hand sanitizers, and the rest.
Trade Minister Alan Kyerematen has hinted Ghana will be a major exporter of biscuits and confectioneries once the Continental Free Trade Agreement takes off next year. During his working visit to a confectionery, Alan Kyerematen revealed that the support for the company earns the country millions of foreign exchange, which hitherto could be used for import. Chasayete has more in this report.
Mass Industries Limited is an existing manufacturer dedicated to the production of biscuits. The company is looking to expand its operations significantly and in this quest registered under the government flagship 1D1F program, which is being facilitated by the Ministry of Trade and Industries. Here is Sector Minister Alan Kyerematen.
The quality of products that they are producing now, there will be absolutely no reason why we should spend scarce foreign exchange to import biscuits into this country. Secondly, also, with the coming into force of the Continental Free Trade Area, I can guarantee that very soon the products of this company will be all over Africa, and we'll be proud that it will be a made in Ghana product.
The initial installed plant capacity is 6,000 tons of biscuits per year, and the company has been operating at 65% capacity. Currently, the company is operating at 40% capacity. As part of the expansion process, the company introduced a new wafer line, which was installed in 2017. Adel Sharma is MD of the company.
We currently, unfortunately, because of COVID, we have our workforce, we had to lay off some of them because of the COVID situation. But gradually now, with the gradual opening of the government, of the schools and of the economy, now we have started re-employing again. Hopefully by beginning next year, we will be back to full production and full employment.
Mars Industries Limited is a self-financing project under the 1D1F initiative and has so far been invested into by a total amount of $20 million. The company used to have a staff strength of over 500 direct jobs and 1,500 indirect jobs. But due to COVID, the current staff employee level of Mars Industries Limited has dwindled to 340 workers. I'm Charles Aite for Joy Business.
And the Food and Drugs Authority says it will leverage the level 3 status it attained from the World Health Organization to ensure that at least 99% of all regulated food supplements and drugs in the country meet acceptable standards. The level 3 status is the second highest in the 4-tiered WHO classification. Acting Head of Monitoring and Evaluation at the FDA, Joseph Bernie, spoke with Joy Business at the maiden edition of the Ghana Premier Business and Finance Excellence Awards, where his outfit received a special gold award for its sterling performance. My colleague Bismarck Kawusa has more.
The FDA's level 3 regulatory status attained makes Ghana one of only 2 countries in Africa and the 52nd in the world to attain the high-profile rank. Speaking to Joy Business, the acting head of monitoring and evaluation at the FDA, Joseph Bini, says the authority is working to ensure that almost all foods and drugs on the market are wholesome by 2023.
There are a lot of court cases now that have been prosecuted. The police, like I said, and Attorney General's Department helping us to do the prosecution, and then we as an institution also applying the administrative charges to ensure that people fall in line with what the law demands. Going forward, we want to assure Ghanaians that there will be a time when you walk into any facility, you are most likely to find out that about 99% of the goods that are regulated have been really regulated, and you can safely walk out and ensure that whatever you purchase is regulated.
The Ghana Premier Business and Finance Excellence Awards was instituted to honor business and finance houses which have made outstanding contributions to the economic development of the country. The Minister of Business Development, in a keynote address read on his behalf, made a strong case for more private sector contribution to the economy.
If you look at the Asian miracle that has become, or that took the world by storm, it was done in consultation or in collaboration, in cooperation with the private sector. As I alluded in my introductory remarks, no nation can do it without the private sector. Any government that decides to neglect you will do that at his own peril.
Other award winners include Goldfields Ghana Limited, Stanbic Bank, ZPay Ghana Limited, and the Bank of Ghana. The event was themed Promoting Ghana's Economic Development.
Some hotel managers have joined calls for a stimulus package to save the hospitality industry from the negative effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic led to a reduction in occupancy rates to between 2 and 12% for hotels, a situation that led to a significant dip in their revenue. The latest advocate for government intervention is Belfast Management Limited, the facility manager of No. 1 Oxford Street Hotel and Suites, located at Osuhia in Accra. There's more in the following report.
Belfast Management Limited has reopened its Splash Hotel, No. 1 Oxford Street Hotel and Suites, following the President's directive on COVID-19. The company, however, bemoans the negative impact the novel coronavirus has had on its business. The general manager of Belfast, Etuobi Deborah Kisi, spoke to Joy Business at a client engagement ceremony to unveil the luxurious hotel and suites located at Osu in Accra.
We employ a lot of people. You know, we give, I mean, I can speak for myself, for my company. We have, like I said, we have 4 buildings. So we employ way over maybe 300 people across all these buildings. So if the government could come and support, that would do us some good. But currently, there's no support. Everything we're doing is from our own coffers. So if the government is looking at this and they can help us, that would be awesome.
According to Mr. Deborah Kisi, the hotel has seen a dip in revenue of not less than $30 million.
This building in particular is supposed to generate us between 7 to 9 million a year. And we shut down for almost 7 months. So that's a huge chunk of our revenues gone. So, like I said, you know, it could have been half of that revenue. It's gone. It's already gone. But it could have been worse. We're still here. We're still alive. So all we have to do is just think positive and think better for the future, because next year is a new year. So yes, we are hopeful that things will get better. That's all I can say.
The plush No. 1 Oxford Street Hotel comprises a total of 108 apartments. It comes with 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom suites, and a 3-bedroom presidential penthouse suite.
Right, and that'll be all for Business Live for today. I'm Israel. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening.